all started in 1696 when Colonel John Pigott came to Weston-super-Mare. He bought the manor and he converted a little cottage on this site into a holiday home. If you like, he invented tourism in Weston-super-Mare. This eventually became the family's manor house, Grove House in Grove Park. (1824) is the significant year because that's when John Hugh Smith-Pigott, who had become Lord of the Manor, decided the house should change from being just a holiday cottage into a manor house. And so he set about converting the building, extending the building, and this is where the family came to live. The land surrounding it, previously known as the Clover Grounds, became Grove Park. He was an incredible person. I mean, not only did he extend the house, he created Grove Park as the family's front garden. He then turned Worlbury Hill, Weston Hill, into his back garden by planting the woods. So he was very much the squire resident. And this house became a centre of glittering parties. Hounds came from here, they went fox hunting, and it carried on almost until the end of the 19th century, when Cecil Hugh Smith-Pigott, as the squire, how can I put it, he and his family were somewhat eccentric. Others would say plain bonkers, but whatever, they were certainly not very competent estate managers, and their finances began to falter, and the family abandoned Grove House. It was acquired by the municipal authority, and so began a completely new phase of life. The house became a public property, and the park became a public park. 4th of January 1941, a hugely significant date for Weston. We were bombed, and Grove House succumbed to the Luftwaffe's bombing, and most of the property was destroyed in that significant air raid. Hardly any of the house remained. I'm sitting here on the cornerstone of the old Grove House. This was the end of the property until the night of that awful incendiary attack. You can see everything behind me is a recent addition. The old house went. 1842 is a significant date for Weston-super-Mare because that's when officially it ceased being a village and became a town. That's when the town commissioners, the early councillors, began to rule and the lord of the manor's power began to dwindle, and that in itself caused ruptions. But gradually the town further expanded and the commissioners became urban district councillors. And then in 1937, the place was large enough and significant enough to become a municipal borough. And in 1937, when it became a borough, the chief citizen became not the chairman of the council, but the mayor of Weston-super-Mare. And the mace here is significant because it shows in terms of insignia exactly where power resides. The mace represents the mayoralty, the coat of arms of the town, but above it, as in Parliament, is the crown. The crown represents the law. This is significant because it means that politicians are subservient to the law, and it matters not whether we're in Parliament or in Weston-super-Mare. That mace signifies the supremacy of law over us all. Over the decades, indeed in some places over the centuries, towns acquire plate, silver and lots of insignia. And here in Weston-super-Mare we have quite a fine collection. It's here displayed in Grove House. I have to emphasise it's not being purchased by the public. These examples of plate have been donated, sometimes by councillors, sometimes by organisations. And here we see, if I could just point out one very significant piece. The silver trowel. which was used by young Cecil Hugh Smith-Pigott to lay the foundation stone for Burnbeck Pier. So the little boy, he was only a child at the time, he climbed down onto the rocks with this, got the cement, put it down, and the very first part of Burnbeck Pier was built. And this is that original silver trowel. With the reorganisation of local government, the mayoralty of Weston-super-Mare changed radically. The mayor was no longer chairman of the principal authority, but became eventually the chairman of a parish council. That is the status of today's Weston Town Council. Where to meet? Well, Grove House became the place, and so the mayor transferred from the town hall into Grove House, and ever since Grove House has been the seat of the mayoralty. So today it is known as the Mayor's Parlour and the headquarters of Weston-super-Mare Town Council. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this brief visit to Grove House in Weston-super-Mare. I'm John Crockford-Hawley, I'm North Somerset's Heritage and Regeneration Champion, and I hope you've enjoyed everything we can show you. Carry on looking with your eyes wide open at everything Weston-super-Mare has to offer.